Okay, so we've been following a very important news story about Tucker Carlson's interview with Representative Ron Ron DeSantis of Florida. And one of the concerns that Ron DeSantis is explaining to Tucker Carlson in an interview is that the state delegates and sitting members are involved in a criminal investigation regarding access to security. Now, the way he laid it out, it's pretty simple when you think in terms of on a monthly basis, they who do this, it's IT support handles their internal, I guess you would say, let's say security clearances. Well, I guess this would mean like their internet, whatever they do as far as web traffic. That's handled over the IT support, if I'm correct. And what it looks to me is the Democrats that are asking for more funding. Now, $1,500 comparing to $4 million and asking for additional funding. When you think in terms of dollars and cents, that's a lot of money to be asking for. So looking at how procedures are done for security clearances, knowing that security clearances are not authorized unless you are giving, a background check. And when you go through the standard background check, and this is any police officer that knows the perimeter or know the area, they do the standard FBI background checks, and they find out that, first of all, they have to be a citizen of the United States, and they have to have a license, and they have to have, basic. You have to basically pass the background check. And what they're talking about, Awan, which I never really thought I'd go down this road, but now that you listen to this report, it sounds to me that Awan doesn't even meet the minimal requirements for a security clearance. And that's just procedural things. These are things that we know that are overlooked. So me personally, when I look at this, I think to myself, something smells funny. And therefore, initially, my first concern would be like, if I'm running my own home and I'm looking at it from a domestic issue, domestic diva issue, domestic whatever. But the domestic issue is that I would want to change the locks and security badges, and I would want my security guards to change everything until we know for sure, because it's a security issue within the House of Representatives. And to me, if I was concerned about these things, I would want new locks on all the doors. I would want everything rebolted and new keys and new badges administered to the security teams. Because this way, we're going to, over time, we might have to change the locks a few more times and change the passcodes and numbers and things like that. Overall, I'm looking at my constituents and I said, if your house is broken into, we want you to change your locks. We want you to change the way you operate your home security. And the House of Representatives is no different than the way we would operate our house. I would want added security. And if I know that we're broken into, or a threat of identity theft or things like that, because I was an identity theft victim last year, we had to go through all kinds of stuff, new credit cards and credit card fraud, and all kinds of things through the bank. And that's why we had to get renew cards, renew everything. And it's a general security issue. It's no different than being broken into. It's the same violation over and over. One violation after another. And I'm looking at the way, police officers operate in their perimeter. They're given special arresting powers that afford them the right to protect the community in their house, in their home, and standard operational procedures. Security issues matter to all of us. So I look at crossing the street, knowing that our kids have, proper, look, school's going to start, so they got to know where their bus stops are. They got to know that the same woman or man are going to be there at the bus stop. And parents obviously will pick up their kids, and they rotate the cars out, and you know what I mean, and they have a pickup strategy, and on and on. Okay, but this is general security, because looking at what's going on in our school zones and knowing what the laws, how the laws are changing, and the way it looks to me as MS-13, we need our teachers to be trained to carry a gun. And I don't know where, at this point, anywhere in the world, why teachers or why U.S. soldiers or why parents and family do not carry a handgun and teach their kids general security issues. This is going to be the issue today. You have to look at what's going on here in Beaver, Pennsylvania, and around. Every school, every town is a soft target. As long as we have MS-13, which is a big issue in Northern Virginia right now, and also in Minneapolis, every person should be carrying a handgun, and they should be teaching their kids basic security. This is it. I mean, you do not want your children to be unaware of the dangers that come with a gang, and this is called terrorism. We knew the day would come. We are well trained now, trained enough to know to teach our kids to travel together with a chaperone or a parent that is a law-abiding gun well trained and operating their gun. Okay, and to me, the primary concern is takes all this pressure off the police departments by training the citizens to be armed right now. I can't think of right now in Beaver County and the surrounding area, with the increase of violence in cities like Chicago, now Minneapolis, and now on the border, every citizen in the United States that has the ability to carry a firearm needs to carry a firearm. It's overall security, and that's why we see the repeal of the veterans protections, because they tried to disarm veterans, or trying to disarm people this way. And the thing is, to me, as a veteran, when they disarm us, we can't protect our community. We can't be a backup to the police department. And that's our argument with the House of Representatives. This has been our issue all along. We need our family and friends to understand that this is a general security issue. We can't take the chance and risk the chance of someone getting hurt. They have to know how to operate a gun and handgun. They have to know basic self-defense. And if I was looking at my home, I would teach them the same thing. I would say, this is what you look. You look at your houses and your neighborhood. No different than you were in the military. Perimeter. You know what's going on in these areas. You got to know the area. You got to know the people. You got to know the issues affected here. And you got to know the concerns that each individual in this community might have going on here. And these are some of the basic concerns that community members would want to address. They said, why are these kids going without food, clothes? What are the necessities? Can we talk to churches? Can we engage with these families and tell them that we're concerned about these issues? How do we get these kids their basic needs met? If these kids or the adults are handicapped, we want to make sure their basic needs are met. Because overall, we're only strong as the weakest among us. That is my argument. For the House of Representatives, I would be thinking twice about making sure our representatives and our senators now are fully armed after what happened to Representative Scalise. And this is what is going on. Now, in District of Columbia, the open carry laws and all these things, after the shootings, we know even more so. They need to change the locks. We need to see our representatives of our veterans carry a gun. Veterans and military to back up our local police departments. Not with the kind of threat we have on the border, MS-13. Some of us personally have been affected. I almost lost members of my family due to drug trafficking and human trafficking. That is my case. Case closed. Thank you.